Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to Crewcast Episode 6. It's the 25th of May. Today we have Buzz, Danny, Gizmo, and myself. And we're going straight into our gaming news.
All right, we're only going to have one topic today. Get it? One topic?
One?
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that topic is about Microsoft's new console that they just announced this week. And what's it called, Danny?
Xbox One.
So, Xbox One. Before we even get started, how do you guys like the name?
I think it's a terrible name.
I like it.
They could have... it's silly. It's not the first Xbox. It's like... I mean, we're going to call it Xbox anyway, aren't we, eventually? Or we've got the Xbox. Yeah, I've got the Xbox. Like, Xbox One. Pff.
I like what it stands for, though. It
Makes
doesn't
sense.
stand for, like, the first Xbox. It stands for, like, you know, one thing for everything. So, it's, like, got everything in it.
I don't know. I think they could have done so much more with, like, Xbox Infinity. That sounds cool. Xbox One. Pff.
What are they going to call the next one?
Infinity Squared?
Xbox 2?
Xbox Black Hole. I like the name. I mean, I don't think it's... Durango would have been horrible. Infinity, I think, sounds cool, but it is a little too weird, I think. But, I mean, they're saying that this is the one. I mean, this is your device. This is the one device you want, the one device you need. So, I think we're going to see a lot of play on the word one when they start really ramping up closer to, like, Christmas or so, whenever this thing's going to be available. Supposedly going to be available this year, along with the PlayStation 4. So let's talk about the actual what's been announced. Some of these things are speculation, and we'll try to let you know if it's speculation or if it's true. But hardware spec-wise, because this is the stuff that I geek out on, 8-core processor, 8 gigabytes of memory, Blu-ray for the first time. So Sony pretty much did Blu-ray on the PS3. Microsoft did their HD DVD. Obviously, Microsoft picked the wrong format, partly because Sony was behind Blu-ray. But now Microsoft's like, okay, Blu-ray. Kinect comes with it now. You still get a wireless controller. And it's got a new, sleek design. It looks like speculation is that it's an AMD CPU and AMD graphics, but there's not a lot of confirmation yet on that. But it is 100% truth that this is using the x86 technology that we see in our PCs right now. So they've gone from this Power PC-ish based processor back to the PC style. So any thoughts when it comes to the specs of the system hardware-wise?
Sounds powerful.
Now,
I like the Kinect comes with it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, that way you can all the developers and games can design around the fact that everybody has it. The one thing I will say, in comparison to what's been mentioned about the PS4, the PS4 has the same amount of memory, but I think their memory is DDR5, and this is DDR3. So the PS4 has substantially faster memory. Right now, speculation, because Microsoft hasn't really put everything out there yet, but speculation is that the PS4 might actually be more powerful. But I think what we'll see, and I think it's what we've seen with the current generation consoles that are out now, even though one might be better than the other, pretty much the games themselves that developers make look identical. The Kinect, it's now got a 1080p camera, improved sensors. This thing can actually detect your heartbeat.
Ooh.
So
That's weird.
that would be very cool. Piper playing on the Xbox One in a zombie game, things get scary and we can see Piper's heart rate go up.
There'll be like a heart monitor in the top of of the game of the
That
screen.
could be amazing because I don't know how many times when we play a game or even when you watch a streamer and like particularly like DayZ streamers, you'll hear them get into combat and we've done it too and you'll hear people be like, "Oh, what a rush," or "Man, my heart's beating so hard." I've heard Piper say that before, you know. So that would be kind of cool. One other thing about the Kinect is they've improved the field of vision, so you can also get very close to it now. That was one of the reasons why I never bought a Kinect for my 360, is because it's in a media room and I have reclining chairs in front of a projection screen that the Xbox is on, and I only have about 3 or 4 feet, probably about 5 feet to the chair. And they want you at least, I think, 6 feet or further back. Uh, but it's just kind of difficult for me. But now people have said with the new camera, they've been able to almost stand right in front of the screen if they want to. And it still has the vision to pick up individual players in the room from like almost a 180 uh, degree look up close. So any thoughts on the Kinect part of it before we move on to some more of this stuff? Because we got a lot of stuff on this.
I think it'll allow for more games to use it rather than just having Kinect games to like utilize the Kinect.
I was never really a fan of the whole Kinect stuff. It sounds cool for people who like it, but nah. I prefer having a controller in my hand and actually just playing, rather than my body being the controller.
Well, I don't necessarily am, am a big fan of the body controller stuff. I think that's kind of corny. I don't like the idea of paging through screens by flipping my hand when I'm sitting back in a chair. But if the game can pick up your heartbeat, if the game can pick up maybe your body mechanics and try to figure out what you're going through mentally and physically, and maybe react or inform other players. I mean, I'd love to be able to know, like, Piper's heart's racing, Gizmo's heart is racing, or just, if it has the ability to just discern what the player's going through. I think that's really cool. I'm not a big fan of, a soccer game, football game where you can kick a ball, or you're punching games, where you're punching at the screen. Dancing games don't interest me. So a lot of that Kinect stuff I could care less about. But I do like the idea that this is a 1080p camera with these different sensors and these high quality sensors, and they can actually really detect your skeletal system. They can detect your heartbeat. I mean, they can detect your breathing. Um, I think it has a lot of interesting potential.
I don't think I would like it I mean, I haven't played Kinect before, but I've played on like the Wii Fit and using that sensor. I'm not too sure if I was doing like a keep fit game that it would be like measuring my heartbeat and saying, "Wow, Piper, you're really unfit. You got to do 10 more laps around the living room or something like that." I
Why
don't know if
wouldn't you
I'd
like
like
that?
that side
If
of
you,
it.
that's pretty much the way fitness works. I mean, if you
I
work with a
know,
trainer,
but
they want to see your heart rate. I mean,
isn't it a bit too much information that I want from a game? I don't
well, if
know.
you're to me, if you're going to be doing a game that is fitness related, then
Yeah.
you should want that. Now, I could understand that maybe like if you're playing some type of game, like a fitness game with friends, you don't want maybe your friends to
Yeah.
know how fit you may or may not be. Um, I can understand there might be some sharing there, but I think for a game like a DayZ-ish type game, it would be really
Yeah.
cool, or aliens. I mean, you're on a spaceship and aliens are running through the vents, and you're like, get me out of here, dudes! I'm gonna die, and people see your heart rate going up. It would be very cool, I think. I've seen one of the streamers, Sacriel, and I know most of you guys know Sacriel. He was looking at actually buying a heart rate monitor that had a USB interface to try to look at putting his heart rate up on his stream.
So
So,
cool.
Gosh.
I mean, but the fact that the Xbox can do it, I mean, and we're not going to see DayZ for the Xbox, at least I don't think we will. But it definitely could be useful. But let's move on because we have a ton of stuff. So the Xbox, as we've talked, can be controlled by the wireless controller. I'm sure they'll have wired options for controllers too. Voice commands, and gestures. Now, at least for me, the controller is what I prefer to use to do things. Voice commands could be cool, but what do you guys think about? There's been some comics that have done and about this, and we've all talked about this. I've mentioned this before. Like, what if you're watching a TV show or somebody in the room says Xbox off? Is your Xbox just going to shut off? Could Gizmo be like, I'm playing Assassin's Creed 7, I'm almost at the final level, and then Piper goes, Xbox off, and then it just shuts off.
That would be so
Yeah.
Ultimate troll.
It's kind of...
but funny.
I don't really get it. It's kind of scary. I don't really know how I feel about it.
But I mean, if you're watching a TV show that somebody's playing an Xbox One on, and they say Xbox off in the TV show, and it comes out your speakers, will the Xbox respond to what's it's heard? Does it know what sounds it's putting out, so it filters those out, so therefore it wouldn't react to them? But I mean, what's to stop somebody from trying to troll you? You know, how's it going to discern Gizmo's the gamer, so we don't want to bring up, Xbox TV or whatever, and it just switches over to a TV thing? The game probably would pause, but if you do turn it off, would it, how would it react?
It's kind of, in my mind, it's kind of lazy. Like, why can't you just get up and turn it off? Why
Yeah,
did
that's
you
what
say
people said about
Xbox
remote controls
off?
for TV, though.
You can turn off the 360 without even getting up.
Yeah, but pushing a button like Xbox off, I don't know.
I
In
think
the
it's cool.
future, it's kind of scary.
I think it's cool. I will say, too, another bullet point that kind of goes with this, voice commands supposedly work for almost all aspects of the user interface. So from the demo, we saw the guy going to TV, going back to the game, going to the internet, I think Skype and different things. So it looks like it's integrated into the system. I'm sure there's going to be some type of toggle, because if you start seeing Xbox Ones in gaming tournaments, you got to turn some of that stuff off, because it could just be Troll City.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the controller. Obviously, this is a new wireless controller. Has a redesigned D-pad. Now, a lot of people said that the new D-pad is amazing, that the thumb wheels feel better. It's got dynamic impulse capability now on the triggers. I think one news site asked if the triggers could be set to like give some resistance. So like if you're trying to pull a bow, or if maybe you're fighting your character with somebody and the trigger's used for like a fighting move, say like a wrestling game, that if somebody's directly like against you, or maybe you guys are locked in wrestling combat, that the trigger might be able to put some force back where it's harder to squeeze it, or you're receiving at least a little resistance. And they said, the Microsoft person implied that that is possible, but it's up to the developers.
I like that. I mean, that makes it feel a lot. It would make it feel a lot better playing a game and feeling the like resistance against something.
Yeah, it's part of me, you wonder, it would be cool, is it still more of a gimmick? Because, the Nintendo Wii obviously had the ability, like when you pulled a bow back, you would hear or feel a little vibration possibly, or you could hear the bow stretching. Some of these things, you think they can be immersive, but sometimes they're just like, yeah, it's cool, and then you don't really care. You just kind of want to go back to using your controller like a gamepad. So we'll have to see. I think it's definitely neat, though, because at least this is just a controller. It's not something you're holding up to your head or trying to, make motions with. So I think it could be cool. The negative for me, at least on the controller, uses 2 AA batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it in this day and age. I mean, Sony's pretty well proven with the PS3 that they can make a good controller that has a built-in, not replaceable battery that works and lasts. And you can buy rechargeables for your Xbox 360 and charge stations and all that garbage. But I think at this day and age, you shouldn't have to. Okay, so it also has control of the Xbox interface, and you can do this now with the 360 with your phone or your tablet. What do they call that interface? Is it ScreenFlow? But you can load it on your iPhone. You don't have to have a Windows phone or a Windows tablet. You can do it on those, but you can also do it on an Android, and you can do it on your iPhone. But basically, it lets you navigate through the interface. And I do think that's one of the smart things, that it's Microsoft's doing on this front, and they have done it already, is that it works with other devices. It would be very stupid on their part to like lock it to Microsoft phones or tablets, even though they sell phones and tablets, and some people like them. Really, they have nowhere hit that market. They're a tiny player in that market. The iPhone and the iPad and Android dominate. Smart Glass. It's called Smart
Ah,
Glass. So if you search for Smart Glass on Android and you search for Smart Glass on your iPhone, you'll probably find the Microsoft app, and you can install that. And then, as long as your phone is on the wireless or on the same network as your Xbox, you can then control the 360 now. And this will work with the new Xbox One also. So I think that's cool. Um, just another method. I mean, it's probably better like if you're wanting to use more of the media features, maybe. But theoretically, you could see maybe when what's the Ubisoft game, Giz, that you're all excited about?
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs comes out. It's going to be on the console. If they support it like ScreenFlow, um, and used it for the like the hacker interface, where you could use your tablet or your phone as your hacker device in the game, which I've heard that they might do on the PC version. That would be very cool, I think.
I mean, to get a phone.
Or at least a tablet.
What's
So
cheaper?
obviously, Skype is integrated now. This is not really much of a shock. I mean, Microsoft bought Skype and owns Skype, so they're integrating it. This is something that some people are like, who cares, Skype. But I mean, it does offer the opportunity for people with with their Xbox One. You have a 1080p camera aiming right at you. You can talk with people over Skype if you wish, or what a lot of people are kind of excited about is the ability to play a game with a friend and possibly see each other while you play. Especially like if you wouldn't want to do this with, some random person that you meet, especially when we found out when you play Xbox
Oh
Live,
God.
like Call of Duty games and stuff. You meet the little 8-year-old that wants to cuss you out or make fun of you. You wouldn't want to video chat with those people. But if you have friends, it would be cool, especially say for like streaming. If Danny and I are playing Call of Duty Zombies, we could have the cameras hooked up showing that and then stream it. So it would be interesting.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it opens up the door. I mean, they want this Xbox One to be your one device, so having Skype is probably a smart thing. I hope they start putting in these consoles the ability to live stream any game to say Twitch or YouTube live without the game having to support it directly. I mean, we've seen some games on. I think you have a game or two, don't you, Danny, on the Xbox? What was the one? Was it Call of Duty game you tried to stream?
Black Ops 2 I tried to stream on my own Twitch page.
I mean, that's built into the game, those features. I'd rather see it be built into the console. So that it doesn't matter if you want to stream your desktop, your console's main interface. You want to stream. I mean, they could lock it out so like if you're trying to watch Game of Thrones, that you can't stream that. Um, but like if you're playing any game, just basically any game is streamable to Twitch, to YouTube. I think that would be very cool and handy for us. But I mean, it's becoming a big thing. I mean, that's one thing that both of them are supposedly saying you can do is send highlights. Sony was talking about this a lot more than Microsoft, but you could actually send like gaming highlights and recordings to your friends.
Yeah, I did see that it had like built-in recorder for your games.
Yeah, I just don't know if they're offering the streaming part of it. I think it would be a very smart move. I think YouTube, if it wasn't that like Microsoft is, a competitor with Google, uh, they probably wouldn't do it. But I'd love to see Twitch or YouTube, try to do something with the Sony or Microsoft and put the in-game streaming in there. Some game companies may not like it though, so that may be the reason they don't do it. Okay, so moving on. The one big thing that we talked about in our previous podcast was the HDMI in. It is a reality. They do support plugging it into your cable box, and you can watch, switch between gaming and TV, and we saw picture in a picture and all that stuff. So they do have that.
Yay.
It'll
Oh,
be interesting.
TV.
It'll be interesting to see, like at launch, how well it's supported. what I'm really concerned about is how they're going to control the channels on the cable box. I absolutely hate infrared controls where you have a little IR sensor that you have to sit next to something and it blasts out basically your remote channel numbers. I mean, if you watch the video of Microsoft, when they were changing channels, it was instantaneous. But if it has to use an IR blaster, and when Piper says, Xbox, turn on MTV, and her TV is on Cartoon Network, if it has to type 134, say it's channel 134, if it has to send out 134 with a remote-like interface, it's not going to be instantaneous. Some cable boxes have like interfaces to them, like USB or other communication formats where you can communicate through a connection. TiVos used to do this with DirecTV. They would use a serial interface, and it would be 100% reliable and it would be fast. So we'll see how they implement that, because the Xbox does not have a tuner. The Xbox is not tuning channels for you. The Xbox is telling your cable box to switch channels. I've heard that there is an IR port on the back of the Xbox One, so I'm afraid that's how they're doing it. But hopefully that's not the only way, because the demo was instantaneous when they did it. I don't think it's going to be that smooth, but we'll see. Now, they did mention some games, and I'll let Danny talk about what games are mentioned.
There was some EA stuff, like they went through pretty much their catalogue of sports games. I think Forza, a new Forza game was mentioned, and the new Call of Duty, which is Call of Duty Ghosts, was showcased. And I think they mentioned at least 15 new IPs as well for the console, like brand new games.
Yeah, I think like 7 or 8 of those are exclusive of the 15.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really saving the games, which is what one of the Microsoft guys is talking about. That's really their focus for E3. So they didn't really do a lot. They're saving up some stuff for their arsenal at E3. So we'll definitely be talking a ton about all three, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo when our E3 coverage hits. So let's sum it up. So I'm going to go through and just give me your thoughts on the Xbox One, highs, lows, negatives, positives. Will you be buying it? Let's just assume you have the money to buy a next gen console. Will you buy the Xbox One? Will you buy the PS4? So Piper, take it off first.
Well, I'm kind of new to all this gaming, console gaming stuff. But for me, it sounds good. I'm getting used to the Xbox, so yeah, I would probably buy it. Yeah.
Over the PS4?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I don't have a PlayStation at all, so I don't really know much about it anymore. Unless there's a new Spyro game, I might do, but
I think I would wait and see what games the PS4 and the Xbox One has to offer. Like, wait for E3 and see what games are announced and stuff. But I mean, if I had the money, I would get both. Be caught up on all the stuff. But there's definitely pluses to it, but there's also minuses to it as well. I'm kind of on the fence at the minute, really. But yeah.
Danny?
I would probably buy it because
Buy the one?
yeah, I'd buy the one. Because I like how they've like put it across and what it looks like and all the things it's got in it to do, like with TV and movies and music and stuff. So I'd definitely buy it.
Okay. Well, for me, I mean, I guess I'll state off, I'm going to buy them both. I mean, there's pluses and minuses to both. I mean, it's still very early. I mean, Sony's been much more held back when it comes to specs, when it comes to the features and such. So I think E3 is going to be very telling, where we're going to see both consoles visually. We've seen the one, but we're going to see the PS4. We're going to see the features that both have. I mean, things are going to have to be identified by E3, which is very short time frame. We're going to get pricing more than likely. We're going to see games, see exclusives. Sad fact is, Sony's going to have great games that the Xbox won't have. The Xbox One is going to have games that the PS4 doesn't have. So we're still going to be in that spot where sometimes there's games you're either going to have to give up or not. The things that I like about Microsoft's Xbox One, Microsoft does a beautiful job with their interface. And I suspect the Xbox One will be even nicer. I'm not a big fan of seeing advertisements, even though we're paying for live, but I understand it's kind of like we pay for TV. You still have to see commercials, so I understand that. But nothing beats their interface. The PS3 interface is garbage. I mean, it's I like some of the things about what they do, but the PS3 interface is garbage. Also, Microsoft has a huge network of servers for Xbox Live. I mean, they've talked about they're going to have, I forget how many more servers they're going to add for Xbox One. They have such an infrastructure that it's just insane.
I think it was 300,000 servers they were going to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. And the fact that they're going to offer like this cloud thing that we really didn't talk a lot about. I hinted about it. But in a sense, like a developer could be working on a game and have some part of the game that maybe it's intensive CPU needed to solve something or calculate something. They're going to be able to offload that if they wish to Microsoft servers so that they can free up more for the game. Stuff like that is really nice. So I think Microsoft wins on interface. Microsoft wins on, so far, features, but we'll have to see what Sony announces. But I think Sony wins on the look. I think the PS4 is going to look much nicer than this box that Microsoft's putting out. Sony, on the other hand, I think has, no fees. You don't have to pay monthly fees. So that's nice. They also are courting the indie developer, which I think is very smart on them. So I think they're doing nice things. We just don't know enough about the PS4 yet to see. It's going to be very telling, but I'm going to buy them both. I already signed up on both to get notified when they're available for pre-order. But part of that is just because also, doing what we do, we're going to want to try to be able to have the ability to talk about both of them. So I suspect next year we'll see multiple crew having these new consoles. All right, so let's move on. We knew that was going to be our biggest segment, but it's a huge news segment, and we'll definitely have a lot of E3 coverage in the coming weeks. But last news segment we have is crew news. And we have one thing we want to talk about, and that is, and I kind of surprised the crew with this. I didn't even know I was doing it.
Yeah.
I there's a thing called Bungee Cord, which is a kind of like a Minecraft proxy. But we have a lot of users who like to get on our servers, but people are always confused about how to connect to servers. You tell them here's the IP and port, and they don't put it in right. Even if you put the IP : port, they still have trouble pasting it. So I set up our portal, in a sense, our lobby world, on just the default port. So you don't have to even worry about putting ports in. You just have to put in the address. And then when you log into the world, you're shown some portals that you can walk through to take you to Chaos and back to the lobby, to take you to our game server, and to take you to the Build Museum. Now, if we add any other servers for the fans, they'll be in here also. And when Moonveil goes live, obviously something will be in there for Moonveil, and eventually the Chaos link will be cut because we're going to shut Chaos down. I'll make the world available. So this gives you a great way to easily get on. Since I put this up, I think we've seen a dramatic increase in the activity on the servers.
Yeah. And it's Moonveil as well, guys, not Moonville. Moonveil. Vale. Veil.
So I'll put a link here in the description of this video and the show notes for the podcast that have the IP, but it's chaos2.login2.me. All right, we're going to do our first game review now since we've relaunched the podcast onto YouTube. So, Gizmo, you're our Monaco man, so tell us a little bit about Monaco.
Monaco is a pretty crazy game. It's a multiplayer game. What's the company, Buzz?
Pocket Watch Games.
Pocket Watch Games. It's an indie game.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, they're not a largely well-known developer. I don't know what other games they have. They were very friendly, very nice to us when I asked about us doing Let's Plays and stuff for the channel. They were like, "Do it, please." So we were very cool about it. It's available on Xbox Live for the Xbox, and it's available on Steam.
So it's kind of from a bird's eye view perspective of different areas, and you kind of are criminals, and each of these criminal characters have different abilities. So say the mole can break walls, the scout person, is it called the scout? The lookout, sorry. The lookout can see enemies or something, although we're not quite sure how that works. One of them has a pet monkey. So they have different abilities, which is really cool. And basically you have kind of a mission, a goal in each area to do. So kind of you have to rescue the mole, you have to rob a bank. And it's really fun. I really, really enjoy it.
And as you rescue the mole, or as you do other things, other characters unlock that have different skills.
Yeah, so there's kind of a storyline to it, but it's not really a massive storyline. It's kind of just a storyline.
And it looks like each character kind of has their own storyline somewhat. You play we're playing, I think, the locksmith right now on our Let's Play. But once we've gone through that, then we can, I think, then go through kind of a story for the next character.
But it's a really, really fun. It's hectic, but it's really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Now, on our Let's Play, it's been me, and an episode of it just went up on Thursday, the 23rd, so we've already got one episode of our Let's Play. We actually encourage you to go check it out. It is an interesting game. But we had Piper, Giz, myself, and Kama. Now, Kama wasn't available for whatever reason for today's podcast, so we're not going to really get his feedback on the game. Danny has played it, I think, some single player a little bit.
Yep.
But Piper, your likes, dislikes about Monaco.
The first thing that I thought of the game when I first loaded it was how much I love the music. It was just so like crime solvery kind of music. I don't know how to describe it, but it fitted really well with the game. And I really enjoyed the game as well. I mean, once we kind of got through a few levels and we worked out what we were doing and how we were doing it and how to climb into bushes to hide from the guards. And I really got into it. And yeah, I mean, I need to play more, I think. I would love to play it single player as well, which I will do when we finish playing it multiplayer. And yeah, I love the different characters and how each character has a different aspect. And I like the whole puzzle of it as well. It's kind of puzzle and action all mixed up, and it's very easy to get into, and yeah, the graphics are quite simple as well, so yeah, I enjoyed it.
Danny, your thoughts on Monaco?
The little I played of Monaco, I found it quite enjoyable, especially in single player, because in single player it needs to be like immersive and you need to get into the game, and I thought it did a really good job of doing that, and it was quite enjoyable as well.
Now, question for you, single player, since I've not tried it at all. Do you have all the other characters that you have to like control, or are you just focused on one thing and there's no other characters with you, or are they AI?
I think it is just one character. I think you get one single character and that's it for the whole of the single player.
So you can't change after
I don't
each
think
mission?
you can change.
Okay, Giz?
I actually really like this game. It's probably one of my favourite games I've played in a while. I really like the multiplayer aspect of it, and that like you can see from the video that it's so hard, but it was so fun. Like we had to actually communicate with each other and tell each other like what we can see and what enemies are coming and what we should do with each other. And like Piper was like, "Gizmo, go get this guy," and I was like, "Okay, got him." It's I really like it. The music, like you say, the music was just so funky and cool. Graphics. Like, yeah, okay, it's not amazing graphics, but I mean, come on, hands down, gameplay beats graphics. That's what it is. It's a game, people. Gameplay. And this gameplay is so refreshing and so new and different to what else I've ever played before. It's so fun. I really, really like it. I like the different classes. I I like the storyline, even though it's a very basic storyline. Like, it's interesting, it's funny, it's quirky. Um, I like how the different characters are different colours as well. Like, they have their own varying colours. Like, the Lookout is red, the Cleaner, I think, is purple, so you can tell who's who when looking on the screen quite quickly. Um, I like the coin collecting type stuff. I like the items. I wish there was more items. I'm not quite sure how many items there are. I hope there are more, but I don't know. Um, I really, really like this game. I would recommend it for people to play. Play it with a friend as well, or friends.
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys right now, do I like this game or do I... what do you guys think my thoughts on it are going to be?
I think you're going to like it, but you're going to hate the controls.
Okay, I know, Danny, you probably won't have too much of an opinion because you weren't playing with us. So, Piper, what do you think my thoughts are going to be?
I think you liked it. I don't think it's your favorite game ever, though.
Okay. Well, first off, I'll say love the game. I think this game is great. Like
Yay.
Gizmo said, it may not be the most graphically beautiful game, but it doesn't need to be. It's just got good gameplay. I enjoy the different characters with their different traits. There really isn't much of a story per se, but there doesn't need to be. It's just a real fun game to play multiplayer. Not sure how I like single player, but I don't really even want to play single player, like Piper said, until we finish multiplayer, because I
Definitely.
think it works. Does this game actually have voice features built in? I think it does, doesn't it? Because we're not
Yeah.
using it, but I think it does have it. You almost have to be able to communicate with your teammates. I don't know if it would be much fun just with random people, because with anything, when you play multiplayer, some people are jerks, some people don't want to help. Um, One of the things, I mean, there's a few things I don't like. The coins, I would like to see the coins maybe less coins, but each of us can still get the coins. Uh, because that darn monkey that Kama had
Yeah.
was taking
Actually,
all the coins, and Kama actually was running around grabbing all the coins, and with him in conjunction of his monkey. So I don't feel like I had as much opportunity to get coins,
Yeah.
which are needed to
mm,
reload your gun to get one more shot. It's very aggressive on, like, the smoke bomb or the coins are needed to get another one. Needed to get another single shot with your gun. I understand that, like, if you were to make the coins like for all of us, it takes away maybe clearing a level. So I just found it a little frustrating that I wanted to get some stuff, but players take off and who grab too much, or just trying to divide it up. I found it very hard to get like extra shots or extra smoke bombs, and maybe that's just their
Yeah.
design. But I think Kama and the monkey took 3/4 of our coins,
Yeah, definitely.
if not higher. So I found that a little frustrating. I don't like the control for the gun. I'm not a big fan of games where I have to move the mouse. I'd rather have my character just whatever direction I'm controlling him and looking, he shoots. Because sometimes, you're not paying much attention to your gun because maybe you just got a coin, so you got a bullet back, and you got to make sure you move your mouse real quickly to get your character aimed properly. So I kind of would prefer to be able to just aim wherever I'm looking and then shoot. Um, Other than that, I mean, I really didn't have any real gripes. I just besides control. Please let me map control to something else in that game. I literally use control as my push to talk, and when I hit control, it goes back in the menus and stuff. It's annoying as all get out. Please let me remap that key. This would actually be a game that I would like to play on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
I don't know how much this game costs, but I would love to have us try a round of playing this on Xbox Live because I think the controls would be more fun using a controller. You can plug your Xbox Live controller into the PC if you have a wired one. I don't know if Microsoft used to sell, I think, an adapter to let you use the wireless ones. I don't know if it's still available, but if you have a wired controller, you could play it with this, and I think that would be interesting. Kind of hurts with push to talk when you're playing, with Mumble, but on it, if you use the Xbox Live communication, I'd love to try it on there. All right, so let's move on to deals of the week. First off, the Humble Weekly Sale has the Alan Wake franchise, and you can basically name your price. So there's no, I can't tell you it's 75% off, 80% off. I mean, you can bid $1, and I think you still get the Alan Wake series and the soundtrack. So it's up to you. You can select what amount you want to pay, and you can also decide how much goes to the company behind the games and how much goes to charity. I think the two charities are Child's Play and the EFF, both great
Ooh.
charities. And then you can also decide how much the Humble Bundle people get. So, they've had over $385,000 in sales already.
Wow.
So, and there's been, people who have donated $1,000. Some people have paid, I'm sure, the dollar, minimum. Also, Chivalry, which I know Giz enjoys,
Yay.
is available for 66% off. It's on Steam right now. This is through them. It's $8.50 US, so link for that. And another one that we played on our Gamapalooza is Payday the Heist, 75% off through May 30th. So it's like $5 right now, American, probably like £2 or £3 UK.
But be aware with Payday, there is quite a lot of strong language in it, so if you are young, then...
Chivalry is quite bloody. Also, Chivalry is free to play from now through the weekend, through like Monday morning. So you can play Chivalry for free. People like this kind of hack and slash combat. They'll love the game. Play it for free right now. See if you like it. If you like it, it's $8.50 US through the weekend. And you can play it for free through the weekend. All right, so those are our deals of the week. Links to all that in the description of the video and in the show notes. So lastly, we have questions from the fans. Now, you guys did step up and send in a bunch of questions, so we have saved up quite a few of them. We're only going to go through 4, but we have quite a few, so if we hit some dry spells, we'll be able to use some other questions, but we really appreciate it. There's a link in the description of the video and the show notes to tell you how to submit your questions, either as text form, audio file, or in video. So the first question comes from Jessica. What's your favorite part of playing Minecraft? What certain things do you really like? So, Giz?
I really like the building aspect of it, but I also like that you can build together with people as well, like the multiplayer aspect of it. Like build contests and stuff. I love building things. I love the maps that people come out with and the structures they can build. I like exploring people's builds when they're really, really good. Like just the detail that you can get with some of these builds. So I think building is definitely my favorite part of Minecraft.
Okay. Danny?
Like Giz said, with the building and community side of things, I also like the survival part and like PvP and building stuff. That's what I like about it.
Okay, Piper?
I like the survival part of it and the mining part of it. And sunsets. The sunsets are really pretty. Now they've changed the graphics. And I like the idea of like you just walk and walk and walk and it keeps on going and going and going. I like that.
For me, I'd say my favorite part of playing Minecraft is, in a sense, the fact that started the crew.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's my favorite thing. I mean, I just love the game itself and the communities that have evolved around it. But for me, it's the fact that, in a sense, it's created the crew.
Aww.
Got a tear in my eye.
All right, while we're all crying, let's move forward. Our next question comes from ChocoSwirl. Now, he says, if you had to meet one YouTuber, but let's just twist it as if we could meet one YouTuber. I don't want to force us to have to meet a YouTuber. Minecraft or not Minecraft. Now, I think we want to leave out ourselves, like crew-wise.
Oh, I wrote your name down for this one.
So, I mean, because hopefully
Bell
that will
bars.
happen. So, this is probably the podcast where Piper wants to smack Belboz, but I'm taking that away from her. I've already grilled her on
I
her
would
review,
never
on her
do
reviews.
that.
But Piper, you first. YouTuber, not crew related. Boom.
Oh, it's gonna be a difficult decision. I would probably say Hannah from My Drunk Kitchen.
Okay. Gizmo.
Oh god, there's so many. Like Freddie W, Rhett and Link, Charlie So Cool Like.
Only one.
If I had to probably together Rhett and Link, because then I get 2 for 1 because they share the channel. So Rhett and Link.
All right, Danny. I know who Danny's gonna pick.
I'd probably pick the guys from Rooster Teeth.
I thought
Who?
you'd pick Sea Nanners.
No, he's old news.
You're not crushing on Sea Nanners anymore?
Nah,
What if he watches this podcast, Danny, and hears you say that?
it sucks to be him.
Oh,
I'm gonna tweet it.
Now for me,
Tweet.
this is a no-brainer. Paul, Minecraft Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I was going
Paul.
avoiding Minecraft people though.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
I just like he seems like a really nice, genuine guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not that other YouTubers aren't. He gave us a huge boost early on too. He does.
Definitely.
You know, he's a guy that I hope to be able to meet at Minecon this year, because I'm assuming, especially coming from the U.S. also, he'll be there. But I just think he's a good guy. Yogscast obviously was very supportive of us early on. They gave us a mention when
Yeah.
Simon or Lewis, one of the two, saw Lizzie wearing the one skin. So, it'd be interesting to say hi to those guys. But I would, Paul, I really like what Paul does, and I just would like to meet him.
Oh, Smithy, I forgot about him.
I thought that's who you were going to pick.
Oh, man. Well, I'll stick with Hannah.
All right, next up. This question comes from Limo454. What's your favorite movie of all time? P.S. I'm a really big fan.
I tend to say Forrest Gump. I mean, I like a lot of movies, but Forrest Gump is probably right up there as my favorite movie. I can watch it again and again, and I always cry at the end.
Okay, Piper?
I struggled with this one. Came up with a couple.
Only one.
Oh, I'm going to go with Little Mermaid.
What?
Wow.
What?
Piper has
Later it
floored me
down,
this
but-
episode.
What?
I have a few written down.
Little
But that one
Mermaid.
was like my first true love. So, movie wise. But I know because Bell Buzz's one is my favorite one too. But yeah,
The Little Mermaid 2?
no, I didn't watch that.
Aladdin.
Oh no, I do like Aladdin too. Actually, no.
Okay. Well, that was a shocking one. Piper, you never cease to amaze me in these podcasts.
Oh, I love Little Mermaid.
I can just imagine-
Seriously,
I can imagine Buzz adding a picture of Little Mermaid popping up with Piper's head
I
on it.
used to I used to run around the living room when I was 4, like singing all the songs with my friend, and yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Panda
Sorry.
just-
All right. Well, Danny, don't say the Halo TV series. It's not.
Oh, God.
I'd say the first Toy Story.
Hey.
Aww.
Wow, we are all over the place. Animated cartoons. Forrest Gump, great movie. I mean, nothing's wrong with Little Mermaid or Toy Story either. But for me and most crew know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Best movie ever, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. It's up there in mine as well. It's just absolutely amazing.
I haven't seen it yet.
People who don't know, I mean, it's actually a Stephen King book, but it's a story about a guy who gets put in a very unfortunate situation and how he struggles to get past that. It's about friendship. For me, that it's just an awesome movie. It's got some language, it's got some violence, it's got a few scenes that are definitely not appropriate for younger people to watch. But it's great movie. Amazing performance by both Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman.
Ooh.
So awesome movie. And if I wouldn't have picked that, have been tough. There's so many good movies, but that movie just for me is it's just an excellent movie, and it's shocking for people who watch it and love it, and you tell them Stephen King, and they're like, wow. But I mean, the same thing with like The Green Mile, Stephen King story. That's my favorite movie, and if you're old enough, watch it. If you're not, watch it as soon as you are. Gizmo, you probably need about 2 or 3 more years, and then you can watch it. Gizmo likes ketchup on his spaghetti.
Mayonnaise.
You said ketchup like a couple days ago.
Yeah, ketchup or mayonnaise.
Well, I'm just saying you like ketchup on
Or
your
brown
spaghetti.
sauce.
So
Use
please
the cheesy
respond
brown
in the
sauce.
comments. Are you a spaghetti with ketchup fan? Or do you prefer like the regular tomato saucy stuff like the Ragus and whatever other brands there are?
Tomato sauce.
Do you want to know how I got these scars?
All right, last question we have, and this is a video question, and it's
Woo!
from Captain Legendary 01. So he's the first Captain Legendary, even though maybe somebody else got Captain Legendary without the numbers. This guy, he's like the Xbox One. He's Captain Legendary 1.
Oh, God.
And it's a video question, so let's listen.
Hi, Hill Software. My question to you is, how much time per day do you spend, like, editing the videos, doing the videos, playing on the server, and creating the Moonville server? How much time per day do you spend doing stuff for the crew? Thanks for answering my question, and bye.
So how much time do we spend doing crew stuff? Piper?
I actually wrote down, I've been writing lots of notes for these crewcasts. I wrote down 3 to 5 hours a day. That's what I think I spend doing crew stuff, because it takes up my whole evenings sometimes, but not every day. So I'll come home from work and like cook and stuff, and then maybe edit a video, and then we film at 9 o'clock my time every evening, and then it's pretty much up until bedtime. So I estimate 3 to 5 hours.
But don't forget, like, what about when we're filming the mole and stuff? How long does that take a day?
Well, that's extra. I mean, usually on Saturdays we're, doing something big. So like Mole and stuff. Mole was a Saturday thing. But I mean, that's just an average, like considering the evenings and stuff.
Well, that's probably a relatively accurate number. I mean, and just not everybody else can kind of throw in their numbers if they want to come out with a number. But different crew do different things too. I mean, Piper may spend, I mean, we spend a lot of time probably every day that we record almost every day or generally do something, but we probably
Yeah.
spend about 2 hours just in that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the stuff from the recording from that day may get not used if it was just didn't work out. Because sometimes we try stuff like Cops and Robbers and we just didn't feel like it works. So I mean, we probably all spend about 2 hours a day just in game or preparing and recording. But then other people do other stuff. Piper edits. She probably next to me, she edits the most. Gizmo has started doing some editing. So that, they have editing time. I have editing time. I do a lot of the server stuff, the back end things. We have just dealing with comments, coming onto the servers, checking things, interacting with fans, getting on to that. A lot of the crew do building things. I mean, right now, as we speak, for instance, we're recording the podcast, but Dee and I think Ross are on the portal lobby world, our lobby world in Minecraft, building a structure around all those portals to the different servers. Giz might work on a set for something. I'm hoping, I don't know which crew member yet wants to do it, but I actually want a set for this podcast so that we record it in Minecraft and I have a screen or something, and we all kind of sit around and do the podcast. So just so there's more on the screen for those of you who watch it video-wise.
Let's do it after we finish the podcast. Piper, come on.
I'm going to bed. It's
No.
11. I've got work tomorrow. Leave me alone.
You're busy building a set.
But I mean, the thing that should be communicated, and we try to talk about it, off and on, is we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
On this stuff. There's time offline. that people do stuff like the editing, or like say I'm setting up the portal world. But I mean, we put a lot of time and effort. We take this very seriously, and that's one reason why, like, when we get asked, "Can I be in the crew? Can I be in the crew?" I mean, it really takes special people to be able to fit into what we do here, because we do have a lot of things to do, and people step up and do different things, and everybody contributes, and everybody needs to contribute because of what we try to do. Um, so it takes a select person, and people like Piper, Danny, Giz, D, Ross, Mario, Kama, Sarah. Who else am I forgetting?
Lizzie.
Well, Lizzie
Oh,
pretty
really?
much is more
Alicia.
Alicia. Lizzie's more kind of like the talent we bring in here and there. I mean, she does help build some stuff. She's built some stuff on Moonvale. But I mean, all these people, we all work together, but these people fit well for what we do because they all offer different things.
Yeah.
But with that, I mean, that pretty much wraps up this episode. If you got any questions, like I said, fill out the form and send them in. But if you guys want to, say goodbye and we will head out.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye,
Bye.
viewers. Tune in next time.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Compass.